and welcome to the Cosmic Connections podcast. Today, we're going to be interviewing another one of the speakers for the Cosmic Patterns Conference. Today, we're interviewing Alex. So just to tell you a little bit about the Cosmic Patterns Conference, you can get there by going to the website URL, cosmicpatternsconference.com. It is an in-person conference in March, from March 7 to 9 of 2025. We are going to be in Orlando. So I'm here with Faye Cochran and Christopher Pridham and Aleksander. We're going to be talking with Aleksander about the different things that he is going to be sharing with us in his presentation at the conference. His presentation is going to be Karmic integration and retrograde planets. And before we get into his presentation, I'd also like to talk a little bit about some of the things that Alex, is known for. He was the founder of the Johannes Kepler Astrological Institute in Belgrade, Serbia. He has authored over 20 astrological books. He's a teacher of meditation and specializes in astrological healing, fixed stars, eclipses, karmic, and reincarnation astrology, which I think is great because of his topic. He also is an international speaker, and he holds lectures in many different places in the world. So, Aleksander, thank you so much for joining us today, and I really look forward to hearing more about your presentation.
Wow, I'm very glad being here, and especially glad coming to the conference, having in mind that it's going to be on my birthday. So I see that as my special sign, a special conference. So for me, this one is going to be about the topic I like the most, and this is the karmic integration and how we use retrograde planets for that purpose. And luckily, at the time of the conference, we'll have a retrograde Venus. So that's going to be very unique. And I guess we will have that kind of a feeling of how does it look like? How do we actually meet different parts of us, seeing different people who are actually representing a way of how we integrate through many lives, how we actually find different pieces of us in other people that we meet during the time of retrogrades.
Wow, I love that you mentioned retrograde Venus, because actually Venus is my ruler of the ascendant, and it is retrograde in Aquarius. So that's very interesting that you mentioned Venus itself. So I'm so curious about your conversation, your presentation that you're going to share with us. I think that's really awesome.
Looks like it's going to be your conference. I mean, your Venus retrograde there. It's going to be wow. So you will tell us more about the people you will meet or something. I guess it's always very important for us to recognize different messages that we are receiving during the period of retrograde planets. So when we are talking about Venus, it's very often connected with different relationships, with different people. So it's really exciting, beautiful, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait a minute. Okay, let me get this straight. So you're talking about during a retrograde period, and particularly with Venus, you will encounter during that time people that have qualities that are reminding you of what you have had or what you had. What specifically did you say there?
Yeah, actually, you see, in karmic astrology that I teach and study, we have approach that we all live in a field of memories. We see, whatever we see represents always part of our past or future life memories. There are people who we know from some past lives, and when we meet them, they are a very crucial part of integrating some part of us, somehow creating that unity, because it is always reflection. Other people are always reflection of some parts of us, but on a different levels. And there are people who we know from our future lives, and that's a very important thing to realize. When the retrogrades is opening the gates toward the past, and in which cases retrogrades are opening the gates toward the future life memories. And they are different. When you see someone from the future lives, it's who you know from your future lives, who you have a story with from the future life. It's a totally different. And especially with Venus, it can be very exciting because if everything is really great and if you're ready, you can meet like your twin flames or really um, important part of your soul. And whenever you say like a soulmate or twin flames, these are really important parts that are coming typically through the Venus retrograde period. So, and there is a technique. So, how to define where from is that memory coming?
Interesting. Okay. Okay, good. And you'll be going over this at the conference, some of these aspects at the conference then, correct?
Sure.
Oh, awesome. Perfect. Good.
Very cool. So what inspired you? What was the foundation or what inspired you to start digging into the retrograde planets? Was it something that you noticed anecdotally that got you into the research of that, or was it something else?
Actually, I would say my Mercury retrograde in Pisces in the eighth house that I have. So that's the one that actually tells me and always, put me in the very unusual places. But luckily, great dispositors and all that. It's like a diving into some, underwater caves, and then you need to find something very hidden, very deep, and then, put it back. And I mean, bring it here. So that's why I enjoy this karmic and reincarnation astrology. It's a really totally unique approach to all of that. I have several books and programs, related to that, and retrogrades are just one part of it. And but the whole system of it is actually enabling us to see up to 72 previous life memories and 72 future life memories. And it's really exciting to understand the future lives that we already have that. These stories, like some people would say, oh, I hope this is my last life. This is my last incarnation. I won't incarnate anymore. Listen, this is not happening. You are already incarnated in so many future lives. You can define, you can tell the stories. You exist as a physical being. You have your own gender. I mean, everything is there seen. So the way how I go into these reincarnation is very specific. I need to do that in order to understand the picture, the soul, the need of the soul. And the whole point of that is that we need integration. It's not that we want to get rid of, kind of a life, or no, you exist. You exist all the time, like, in different parts. But sometimes people are really like their souls are confused, like they're not united, but rather like in contradictions. They live like fighting to themselves, do not recognizing it, that it's all different parts of them. So when we meet different people, we always meet some, parts of us, just like in a mirror. You always see some parts of you, but these parts are not coming from this life necessarily. They're coming from different parts. So, and why is that so? Because basically, uh, every single person you see it is always in your chart. You never seen anybody who is not in your chart. So the one thing that I teach my students when they come to the first year of astrological studies, before they start with the karmic, is just to define who is who in their chart and to tell the story about the friend who is sitting next to them. Tell me the story of his life looking just your own chart. Forget the chart of other people. There are no other people. They're just reflection. Because if you can see your mother, your father, your whoever in your chart, you can tell the story about their life. You can go into many details if you are skillful enough, if you know how to turn the chart and actually to look into that. And like that, you can do about anyone, anybody. And this is the viewpoint of unity. This is the one that I actually take as this is the chart. So the only chart you need is your own. And everything else is the reflection. You can use other charts. They're just like secondary charts, but the most important for understanding is yours. So based on that, I study and teach karmic and reincarnation astrology, like seeing different people as part of your, whatever is happening to you is your responsibility. Anything that happens to you, whatever comes to you, it's always you. Because you can see that planet in your chart. It's your planet, it's not someone else. So once you know that it is so, you have a chance to change the thing, and there is a way how you work with that. So this part is called karmic integration. So karmic integration allows you to actually connect with different parts on your existence, on your soul, and change things objectively in your life. You change things outside of you, because the philosophy that comes from it is that the deepest part of your mind is your body. So there is nothing deeper than your body. And when I say body, I don't mean only physical body. I mean, you have ethereal body, you have an astral body, you have a causal body, and each of these body levels has its own mind. So in order to develop a different states of consciousness, you need a different levels of integration between mind and the body, and that's called a different state of consciousness. So consciousness, by definition that I use, is just the coherence between the opposites in one system. So mind and body, just like a wave and the particle, you unite them and you get unity. So this is the whole principle of your future lives, your past lives. Following that system, you get understanding of multiple lives happening at the same time and projecting here. So somehow here you can see some people who you know very well from your future lives. And there is exact life. When I say future life, it's like, is it your 13th future life, 27th future life? How do you know that? Which exactly? And how do you know the story of it? This is different parts of these reincarnation studies, but retrogrades are very important because they always talk about different um, dimensions, like a dimension of your past life memory or dimension of your future life memories. So you just need to check what is there, because something is always unusual when the planet is retrograde. It's always very special, and we want to see what phase of that retrogradation is happening, like one that is watching the past or one that is open toward the future.
That sounds very I mean, that sounds very just such a very fascinating and interesting approach. It's like you're constantly engaging versions of yourself, as it were, from a future or from a past. And it seems to me that this type of approach would really, it would really put a very different attitude. It's like you can't be a victim, because you're simply being a victim of yourself. You're not being a victim of somebody else. So it sounds like a very holistic approach, which is again really exciting. I'm very excited to hear the talk and get a little more detail as far as how we go into the chart to see that and pull that out. But that sounds really exciting. A really great Piscean approach.
Yeah, exactly.
Christopher knows that Piscean energy well.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something, Faye?
No, I was just agreeing to what your comment was.
Yeah.
Alex is like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's great that you're able to, share that and that understanding of the past connections that we all have and see it in the astrology, because I know it's there. I don't have very good, solid, reasoning behind figuring it out, but perhaps you'll be able to teach me that at the conference. So I'm really looking forward to your lecture. So I'm curious, you incorporate this astrological healing, if you will, into this because you understand the past connecting to the future. I'm curious, is it just like Venus or retrograde planets in someone's natal chart that is actually what you're looking at, or are you looking at the nodes? Do they play a big part to it? And I know you mentioned fixed stars too. That's a love of mine as well. But I'm curious, like, what you would look at. Would it just be the natal, or would it also be? I know these were like many questions, but would it also be in transits too?
Yeah. So retrograde, so just as I said, a very small, very specific part of karmic journey, just one that represents the gates. And I was thinking it would be very appropriate for that conference to talk about it. We'll have a Venus going there retrograde, and somehow, and that's something that is, as I would say, easy to swallow. It's not too complicated. It's just a 90-minute lecture or 60 or something like that. It's a short one. So I can present how it works. You can get like technically just understanding when this memory is opening toward the future, when it's toward the past, and what does it mean, and actually the concept of karmic integration. But the most exciting topic on that area is definitely fixed stars. So fixed stars are like my real passion in the past, I don't know how many years. I wrote like 3 big books on that. Like I calculated many stars haven't been included before. Astrologers would use only 45, 46 different constellations. I included all 88 constellations. I had to calculate the stars from there, putting them in tropical, understanding their nature. But the reason why I did that was to be able to actually get those stories from different lives, because stars are so far away. Whenever you look at any star, you're literally looking into the story. It's like a time machine. You're looking something that was there like 10,000 years ago. Some of them are like 100,000 years ago. I mean, they're really, so distant, so that you're looking at the past. Even when you look, any other planet, like you're looking into the whatever sun, just say sun, it is 8 minutes past. It is not here. You always think it is here, but it is not. You're watching the past. So basically, it is with all of us. Whenever you look somebody, you are just getting the past, even though it's a tiny, second of it, but it is always a past. So this is a memory. And when we are talking about the fixed stars, we are talking about the great ocean of soul, which is huge. You have so many lives there, and every star is representing some distant memory. So I calculated like the quality of the star based on their magnitude and their declination. So different layers, or like different qualities of uh, hmm, so to say, lives or memories. So the whole system. I picked 720 stars. So 360 are northern hemisphere, 360 southern hemisphere. And this is, it comes from the 88 constellations. And then each star is specific to a certain life memory. So it is just dedicated, like this star is talking about your 58 past life, previous life. If this star is active, so there is a way how to calculate it, whether this star is active, because when you have 720 stars in your chart, you don't know which one is active because one is above the other. I mean, they're all together. I would like actually to incorporate all 9,000 visible stars. That's what we have. So I guess someone will do that. But the first thing I had to do is to find the uh, star activation index. So this is something by which we can see which star actually works. Because many people would say just, oh, you have something on a 13 degree of Cancer. Oh, that must be Sirius. And they think so. But there are 8 other stars that vicinity, including Canopus, which is huge. But not only that, there are many other smaller stars that they don't have any chance. If you are just thinking it is always Sirius, and in many cases it is not connected to Sirius at all. But still, you need to know which one is connected to your story. What does it mean? And if you are interested in knowing the memory of which life does it bring to you, is it from future lives, past lives, which exactly life? And then once you know that, there is a system how to open that life, like how to get the chart. Even though this is not like the actual chart of that time, this is the reflection of it, but it tells you the story that is really important to you. So this is something which I think is most important and maybe most sophisticated. The other part that was really important to me was about the eclipses, because eclipses are those that are connecting. They're just like time elevators that are connecting us with different times whenever it happens. And I was fascinated, even like I would say like 10 years ago, listening about like how certain eclipses are uh, grouped into different families, like Sarah cycle. But when I wanted to find something about it, it was so little or almost nothing about it. So I couldn't find any, like, give me one Sarah cycle so that I understand. No, then I had to calculate by myself. So I just did these calculations, and I calculated 74 Sarah cycles. It is a huge period of time, like almost 3,500 years eclipses. And then by that, you have a map of the soul, like a strings that actually allows you to see, like, if you are connected with one eclipse, where does it take you in past or in the future? And to understand the quality of those Sara cycles, I call them qualities of dragons, because Sara cycle or the eclipse always happen when there is a dragon's head or dragon's tail nearby. So we call them dragons, and then you want to see how they are connecting your different incarnations. Like, so using stars and using eclipses, you can get those strings of your soul that are enabling you to integrate. And by them, you're literally connected with everything. I mean, with those eclipses, we are integrating with other people as one. This is the tricky, because there are so many eclipses. I mean, if you just go and check them, you would see that they are everywhere. But some of them are particularly important for you. But you have on each degree, for example, in this book that I wrote about the eclipses, there are like 5,000 something eclipses. So that means,
Yeah, you have it on
really,
your book. And so is the
yeah,
solar cycle on your humongous book.
oh yeah,
The
that's
solar
the,
cycle. You have 2 of them.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
that's
one.
a heavy book, heavier than me.
I will bring that book to the conference. You'll see the book on that. I know that this is a very large book. I mean, it is like I don't know, 20 inches by 15. It's a big book.
It's a solar cycle book like this. And he also has the eclipse book, and you're gonna bring them, right, Alex?
Oh well, I will bring that Eclipse book. This is like just to. I mean, somehow it happened. I had to write that. I mean, it was not my intention to write that book like this, but just because to have that table on one page. So in order to do that, table of all the Sara cycle from one, family of dragons. So the page needed to be that big. So I said, okay, we
Yeah,
created book that was pretty large, but it is important one for research. So, frankly speaking, I'm writing my books firstly for myself. I need those books. I need really those books. This is like something that I need to, yeah, I need these solar cycles, and then I need those stars. And of course, people who study that, that's what I like. I like teaching people about that, so they need them too. But it is something which is very alive for me all the time. I'm studying and also at the same time teaching and discovering some new things. But as it is now, it is a very beautiful system of one part reincarnation astrology, which is really very specific here. When I say reincarnation, it is more like, this life, seventh previous life, it was this story. So, the story of the life, like starting from the gender and then describing everything else in the life, and then seeing how the things are connected with some other life, and then finding the purpose, and then there are some things of integration. When I say integration, this is maybe this part that you asked me at the beginning, astro healing. So astro healing is the way how I approach, to things. When you want to heal, you just need to integrate. So this is the thing. So healing means integration, and there are different approaches, different techniques, but those that I'm using are connected with something I call technology of consciousness. One, so this is one approach, and the other is astro animal spirit guides. So I'm working with the animals, different levels of them, because they say our zodiac circle is just the circle of animals. So you have animals. I mean, just if you scratch a little bit, below, you will find the animal in any person. In any person, you see that. So you just want to see what the animals are representing. They're like energies, different energies that we have. Very important part, but they are they're coded, they're bringing all the fate that we have, like we go into one direction or the other. So if you learn how to work with your own animal, you can change. You can change the fate, you can change the destiny, you can change many things. But if you don't, it takes you, it goes like one inertia, it takes you there and you go there. So that's why I liked working with them. There is a way how you change the energy, and then things changing around you.
You know, I know someone that thinks about similar way as you do because you have this similar birthday. It's that guy down there, Christopher Freedom.
Oh,
He connects the dots
It's
too. Yeah,
it's the exact same way. Yes,
exactly.
different,
You have
slightly different
similar
language.
birthday.
It's a slight different language, but all the things you're talking about, the integration, finding the animal, like all of that.
Yeah, he's
wow.
connecting the vibrational astrology with tarot cards,
Well, instead of the animal, I would call it the god. So
the
it's finding your
god,
god,
yeah, the
and so it's the
spirit.
same thing.
Yes,
Small g god. So
yeah,
it's like
similar
it's the
birthday,
same
close to each other.
dynamic, same procedures. It's all about. I love the fact that you called healing integration, and because
Yes.
I 100% agree. That is exactly what healing is. It's a matter of us being integrated,
Yeah.
and living a truly integrated life, which is to live who we are. That's what it is. So, and just bringing these elements all together. Yeah, that sounds amazing. I'm really looking forward
Mhm.
to your talk and just hearing more about what you're doing. And
Yeah.
then seeing now your books are. Do you have the books in English as well? Do you have a lot of the books in English
Yeah.
or?
Yes,
I,
Okay. Oh, good.
I have,
Wonderful.
you have it there where you're sitting, Alex. It's on the stack of books there left
oh,
upon your lap.
are they here? Oh,
Yes, there.
I don't. Oh, maybe somewhere. Anyway, I don't see the. Oh, on the other side, you mean? Yeah,
On the other
like
side.
yeah, I can find it. Listen, I have like I think 10 or 11 books in English, and
Nice.
yeah, I guess I will have quite some of them there at the
Yeah.
conference. Um, Christopher, I think it is. I'm very glad that you are, in line with that. That you are actually the one who understands the importance of these energies that we call animals that are part of us. So the thing is, you see, for me, how to live the knowledge, how to actually not only understand the thing. This is one part, but the other thing is how can we actually live the knowledge. I want to be there. The one way to do that is you need to accept your body as a part of your mind. Body is highly intelligent. Your physiology is way more intelligent than human mind. Human mind has certain qualities that are unique, but physiology represents billions of processes that are happening at the same time. It's incredible. It's just like on the universe. So if you can, connect with that, you can find balance with that. And as I would say, if your animal trusts you, which is your body, you that's the only trust that we have. That's the only faith. Anything else, if your body trusts you, you can achieve everything, because then the wave and the particles, they're one. They've always been one, but actually we somehow separate them. Human mind is just like a bubble. You're in your mind, you're thinking, but you're not in your body. Your body.
Well, I think there's a lot of, I mean, for me, when I look at it, there's a lot of battles that are going on. There's wrestling within the own being. Because when we talk even about the human mind, then we have Mercury. And, Mercury likes to control things too. So, all these things, as far as sometimes they're like the little kids, and it's a matter of, as you say, there's a matter of trusting. You have to gain that trust. You have to work together to be whole, to be a whole, to bring everything into order, to bring it into a unity, as it were. um, yeah, I look forward to talking to you a lot more beyond this, because I would like to get into certain things I don't more philosophical, and but you have the philosophy, but then you have to do it. This is one of the things for me that's so important. You have to equip people with tools to be able to do these things. It's one thing to aspire to it, it's another thing to have the tools to be able to walk through and do the work and actually accomplish it. I'm extremely big into that. As I already looked at your chart, I see that both of our Jupiters are in the 12th. So it's like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're just a few days off. I mean, I'm a March 15th. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. There we are.
yeah.
Listen, one thing that I do at my consultations with my clients, so it's not one consultation. When they come to me, it's more like a, karmic integration. There are several, it's more like a coaching system. So there is a first consultation, then you come, and then they practice different things. But I'll just tell you how does it look like. They get different kind of exercises. Each of my clients, who come to consultation, they get their page, and on the page they have not only the recording, but they have something I call exams. I calculate some challenging moments for them, like they can be, and I put there, and then I tell them, like, you need to make the best out of it. And there are certain exercises, the best out of these days, not like challenge. And then they grade themselves. They basically say, like, they get different point questions about specific days, how was it in this area, on that area, and they grade themselves. And then there is a system to tell you how many, that you see where you are. But what we do practically in order to achieve that is that we practice different things. For example, I would send some people to do a skydiving at a certain moment. So you do skydiving, but with no adrenaline. This is very important. If you can do a skydiving for the first time, no adrenaline, that's great. So you just need to be really that your body trusts you. Because if you go there and jump because you like or you don't like, I don't care, but you have some kind, oh, this is happening in my body, it doesn't count. It is nothing. I don't take it. And then you do bungee. Okay, then let's do bungee. We do bungee. I'll tell you, my first time I did the bungee, it was, I'm not interested in that very much, but it happened like, I don't know, 20 plus years ago. I was traveling to Zambia, and on the border between Zambia and Botswana, there is a bridge. And then, there is a Zambezi River and a huge bridge. So basically, I saw that as a sign. And I just at that time, I was in the crossroad, and I said, okay, if I'm capable of jumping here, but just no any adrenaline, just like normal, just like, you're walking. I mean, if you can meditate and become normal in meditation, why wouldn't you be normal when you jump? What's the difference? So this is just a question of trust. If your body trusts you, you can do that. And for me, that was a great moment of meditation. I actually made that, and I just felt like it was beautiful. I just jumped. Because I'll tell you, frankly, the only thing which is the moment is when you're at the edge of a bridge. So this is on. When you jump, everything is over. But when you before you jump, this is the most important, the most significant one. That body needs to trust you, that it is all okay. And then, I'll tell you, from time to time, I practice similar kind of things. And I teach my, students and those who comes to my consultation, basically to be that honest. Because you're honest to yourself only if body trusts you. If not, it is not. I mean, if body trusts you, I'm telling you, this is the only trust that has ever existed. Anything else was a will. People would have a will to die for their faith. They would say, "Oh, I believe in it," but they don't. They do not. They just have a will. And when you have a will, you may die. I mean, will is will. Fine. I'm glad you have a will. But I'm, when you have a believe, when body trusts you, this is magic. This is when magic happens. If body trusts you, you can walk on the water, you can change things. So all that I do is bodily based. So we practice to actually put that knowledge on the body level. And when I say body, physical body is just the first gate. I want to touch our molecular body. Molecular body is ethereal body. When you touch your molecules, when you actually can, feeling that level is just like you do not feel your body. It is so calm, you're present, but then you're touching your DNA. Molecule, DNA molecule is the one that is actually reflecting all the planetary codes that we have. And if you can touch that, you're basically balancing your ancestors, or if you want, your different life memories. Because ancestors are here just as a carriers for our soul. You choose, I mean, you get the ancestors to be able to incarnate in this dimension, in this level. You need some, carrier. But it is not, it is not them who actually who did something. No, they're just here for you to actually represent a foundation for your soul experience in this life. And you do not take all the memory of your ancestors. You may have your brother and sister, and you have the same ancestry, line, everything, but you're different. You can have a different memories, different things. So your soul chooses specific code from your ancestors, meaning from your ethereal body or your molecular body. So basically, if you can touch molecules, you can change everything. Everything. I mean, if you go deeper than that, that's a great, but that's a very, if you touch atomic level of existence, when you say atomic, it might sound like abstract, but trust me, it is just like if you say there are so many different waves TV waves,
Yeah.
radio waves, they sound abstract, but when you enter them, you see the whole stories. So it
Yeah,
exists.
I kind of think almost in those terms you're moving into other dimensional type things, like even physically you could move into other dimensions. I mean, it's referred to, you could take it as resurrection, you could call it different things, but yeah, I see where you're going. It very exciting. Like, it's really a because you're dealing with, okay, we're trying to actually do something on Earth. We have a lot of people focus on the methods to um, sort of arrive at a certain place. But what I hear you, and we'll use meditation, we'll use different processes, which again, nothing wrong with those, but you're taking it beyond. Okay, so now the purpose, and we're going beyond it, and we're beginning to engage in the makeup really of you as a being, and beginning to bring a sense of order, a sense of again, integration, beginning to integrate, beginning to understand and move these things. So I mean, this is this is a large subject, obviously, but it sounds like, I know at the conference people are going to get more of a taste of at least one of the procedures, or one of the ways in which you can begin to see this in a chart and engage it. So that'll be great. But I think the other thing, it's going to be an introduction for some people into this type of astrology, which can be very exciting. It like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, like
already very
opens,
intrigued. So
yeah, like it opens doors to maybe ways people didn't think about before, because a lot of this, I mean, I've understood on some levels, but I know you have a lot of wisdom that I want to know too. So yeah, I feel like there's so much, but maybe even people that don't know anything about understanding astrology from this
well, you
perspective.
have evolutionary astrology, which begins to touch on some of these things, but it's
Right,
nowhere near as detailed as what you're describing.
right,
Um,
right.
it's
It's
what you're getting into is far more detailed, really almost an engagement of, again, in my mind, or from what I know, it's sort of an evolutionary astrology combined with astral magic. It has some of the elements of both those things. And
mhm.
the fact that you work so much with fixed stars, I know there is so much more with fixed stars.
Oh
That's
my
what.
gosh, yes. We've only scratched the surface.
Yes,
Well, at
I
least
just
I've
don't
only
think.
scratched the surface with it, and I love that you also looked at them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, that was really cool because fixed stars are something I really love. When I did my research on Regulus, I did extreme case sampling. I ended up looking at Regulus because it was so close to the ecliptic, because some stars are way far off, to see it, if we could really see something, and it was amazing. It really was. The first person with the most Regulus sun conjunction was a painter, and do you know what he painted? Suns. Paintings of suns. I was like, oh my gosh, you can't make this stuff up. But I know it's always that way. When you start looking, it's amazing. It never ceases to amaze
mm.
me. So
I'm always
this is
fascinated.
exciting.
I'm always fascinated with this integration process, just as because I believe this is something that happens anytime when we are very honest with us. And by honesty, I'm telling you, if you can do something, but including your body. So your body trusts you. If you can say something, but still be at peace, so be blissful, not like pushing things from your mind, and then your body gets unstable. Somehow physiology starts producing certain hormones. No, you want to be bliss. Also, make some action. So if you can achieve that state, you start the process of integration. But when we are talking about the greater integration, can you just, for example, the way how I see that is, let's try to imagine just you are communicating with yourself 1,000 years ago. Can you imagine yourself around the year 1000, some, wherever? So you are there. whoever you were. And now somehow the channel is open and you can talk to the person, to yourself, who you were at that time. So, what do you think? How would it look like? I mean, that person who you were could understand you, the language, but does not understand the concept. I mean, what are you talking about? You just said that, like, you're whatever you're talking, you're flying somewhere, you're using internet, it doesn't matter. I mean, words that are regular for nowadays. You don't have to be a genius. You just talk normally. I'm just telling you, a huge time difference is something that person would make crazy. That person would be definitely, feeling like I'm getting crazy, unless that person has equally 1,000 year of their past stable. That means that the past 1,000 year before that, you need to have a very calm energy so that you can receive that. Even though you do not understand the thing completely, you can download it and you can stabilize that. So that thing is called diameter of consciousness. If you can create let's say 1,000 in the future, 1,000, and that's actually what in karmic integration and reincarnation astrology means. Like, we can define which life is that. If you're open to the story of your fifth future life, you better be really good with your fifth past life. Because, and then you can see the charts. I mean, for those vibrations that you have in yourself, reflecting the memory of the fifth future and the fifth, previous life. And if you can see that they are working together, it will transcend your own personality, even the knowledge. You do not understand in words everything, but you can download that, you can stabilize that, you can allow it to go through you. And when it happens, things change around yourself, because everything you see is always part of you. It is just a matter of diameter of consciousness you can establish. So that's so important, so profound. I'll tell you, I like to check, to work on charts on some really very developed souls that are known in time, in history, and you would always find the same thing. Whoever was like really downloading some knowledge, bringing some message of any kind, whether it is spirituality or science or something special, they would always create that diameter of consciousness that's part of integration, and around them change would happen. Because that collective thing around us, it is us. It is us. It is just like there is a wave and there is an ocean. It is the same thing. However,
Yep.
you can say, this is a wave, and but this is one thing. This is so. If you can create that diameter, things change. So integration is so important. It is really, really more than our mind, human mind, can actually accept or understand
Right.
very
Yep.
often.
Yep.
Transcends that.
Very true.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, it is.
Really good.
Wow,
That's
this
really good
this
stuff.
Yeah,
totally, and
these are all supported with real calculation, and it's connected to the chart.
hmm,
It is calculated. It's not just making this up. It's all calculated based on your chart,
yes.
so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if he's making it up, it's still really good.
well, I mean, he's using the retrograde planet, so yeah, that makes sense. That's
Hey,
the astrology part of it,
I'm
and
I'm good with it.
yeah, I am too. I mean, it sounds exciting, and I'm really excited to hear more about it. So, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Alex. That was really great to hear, your thought process behind it too. I always love to hear where that comes from. So that was really great insight there.
Yeah, I'm also very glad to actually be at the conference for my birthday. So somehow I feel like really honored to be there, and like that's something for me very significant. So I'm really looking forward to all of that. So I think
Yeah, well, we are really honored to have you there too.
Mhm.
So thank you, Alex, and of course my partners, Faye and Christopher, for joining us tonight. I look forward to seeing you all at the Cosmic Patterns Conference. So make sure you check us out, and all the links and everything to what we've talked about, Alex's books, his website, his social media will be in the description box, so you can check him out as well. All right,
Yeah.
everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, everyone.